I watched them all the time. I think I watched Indiana State and Iowa, Caitlin Clark play about the same last year, so I watched a lot of basketball.
Five-time NBA champ Magic Johnson practically begged Caitlin Clark to seek some advice from Larry Legend.
And I think that he could give her great advice on how to handle these situations because he went through it himself.
And it's the refs, it's the commissioner of the league, it's some of the team owners. They are so stupid and so bad at their jobs in understanding what they have in Caitlin Clark, who is the face of the league.
Perhaps Larry Bird just did what the WNBA as a whole declines to do and, in other words, give Caitlin Clark her own squad. Yes, you heard correctly. Not a endorsement agreement, not a motivational speech, not a handshake, and a few unspecified things we're proud of. You're a moron. An entire group, or at least, this is how it sounds if you make connections between Bird's most recent fiery tirade, Clark's handling of the court, and the WNBA's utter failure to safeguard its lone bright spot.
Magic offered her some advice. He advised her to seek some advice from Indiana's own Larry Legend. Now, Larry Bird easily regarded as one of the best NBA legends ever, so seeking advice from him wouldn't be a bad idea. Because just like Bird, Caitlin was not welcome to the big league with open arms.
Boom. More importantly, the league, the refs, you're going to let people take cheap shots like that over and over and over at the face of your league, the future of the league, the most important player in your league?
Is there an agreement? A news release? Perhaps not. However, let's just suppose Larry has a blueprint hidden away beneath that French Celtics memorabilia. We wouldn't be surprised, Lick. And to be honest, it may be the only strategy that makes sense at the moment, since after observing Marina Mabrey almost reposition Clark's face using that, shoved her blind side while she was still recuperating from an eye poke.
Marina Mabrey, who, if you don't know who that is, I've been watching the NBA for 2 years now? She's been on 32 different teams in 2 years. She cries, whines, leaves one team, goes to another, demands trade, shoots threes. She's an irrelevant journeyman. She runs up to Caitlin after the whistle, slams into her, knocks her down. Obvious ejection. An obvious ejection. Marina Mabrey, look in the mirror. The reason that you're going to have any money before the end of your career is number 2-2. Nobody even knew who you were or cared about you till she got in the league. So cheap shot her like that. What are you, dumb?
Apparently, Bird had had enough. The individual who once made it through the bad boys Pistons without recoiling is now behaving as though he just observed a Bentley being keyed and, as if it were no big deal, walk away. Additionally, his solution, rather than pleading with the league to shift, not to convene a meeting with executives. No, Larry is prepared to grab a clipboard and a whistle, then begin sketching up plays for the Clark team. You'd like to play dirty? All right. She will simply construct at least her own locker or her own league, a space where she can rest easy about using flying elbows when warming up.
I believe it's this entire class of WNBA draftees led by Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, call Larry Bird. Ask him for advice.
Oh, I mean,
Indiana, he's already there.
You don't deserve this, Caitlin Clark. Please go play basketball somewhere else and let this league crumble, man. This is just ridiculous.
Everything. Speculation, yes. However, when Larry Bird begins to speak in this manner, yelling names of the players, setting the league's culture, as well as practically providing start his own franchise in order to maintain. When Caitlin Clark stands up, people begin whispering, listening, and taking a screenshot. Abruptly, a Bird building. It doesn't sound like a team built around Clark. Crazy conspiracy, no longer. It sounds as though a passably good business plan. Additionally, if you adore this analysis of Bird's master plan, be sure to sign up for Put Bird's word in the comment section below, because this tale becomes even more bizarre, particularly when the substitute is observing the WNBA's ongoing mistakes. The most marketable athlete in ever.
Ratings go down 50% when she's not there. Ratings rocket through the roof when she is. Everybody has to watch. He's box office. if the refs are going to let people have open season on Caitlyn, bump her, knock her down, throw her down, cheap shot her, it's time for the Fever to wake up like Sophie Cunningham did and say, enough is enough. You're going to do that. You hit us with a feather. We're going to hit you with the crowbar right in the brain. That's what we got to do.
Therefore, if Larry is calling, we hope. Nike is expanding since someone's intending to construct around Clark. Additionally, at this rate, it could be a startup Bird or Europe, but it is unlikely to be the victory. Larry Bird is currently doing more compared to the league that Caitlin Clark truly comes into play. Furthermore, it's somewhat incredible, as league officials are occupied with keeping an eye on the situation, which translates to reloading Twitter, and Bird is out here hoping it blows over, appearing as though he is prepared to draft day, purchase a charter jet, make a 5-year plan, and Caitlyn is personally coached into the hall of notoriety.
Caitlin Clark, please leave this league and let it crumble. Please, this league does not deserve you. All this hate from these black people, all this hate from these lesbians, these people in the media, just go play basketball somewhere else. Your fans will follow you. We will follow you wherever you go.
Should the WNBA fail to develop, perhaps he will be around her. He's already. In one interview, she made a stronger defense compared to half of her teammates court throughout the season. Let's be honest about this. Bird is not merely observing the games. He is examining the tape and making sure. Body language and most likely text messages. Hy-Vee employee asking if they would like to support a brand new arena. This is identical. Someone who used to hurl elbows at adults. Men simply for misjudging him.
What's happening in WNBA is what happened when Magic and Bird went to the NBA.
I said from the very beginning, Caitlin Clark is Larry Bird with she plays that game. She's Michael Jordan in terms of her influence on moving the needle for this league. But her game is Larry Bird. And it's not just the shooting. You watch her for very long. Her passing is honestly as magnificent as her shooting. She makes the players around her better.
What took place was in the WNBA. When Bird and Magic joined the NBA, I stated from the start, Caitlin, Larry Bird is played by Clark. That game, she is comparable to Michael Jordan, of her impact on making a difference for this league, but Larry is her game. Bird, the shooting isn't the only thing. You spend a lot of time observing her. Her depth is truly just as amazing as her shooting. She attracts the players. Better for her.
You were immediately a better player if you were on the court with Larry Bird because he would figure out what you could do, he could see what you couldn't do, and he would get you in a position to highlight and emphasize what you did well, and he would help you succeed in that.
Additionally, he is now verbally haymakers for a newcomer who's been pushed, stumbled, had their eyes gouged, and in some way continues to lead the league in class, poise, and audience size. You don't leave that difficult unless something is visible, unique, or unless you're in the vicinity of one. Headline before starting your own. A basketball universe that is Clark-centric. It's got to the point where Larry Bird appears courtside wearing sunglasses and carrying a clipboard. Nobody will inquire. To be honest, we're simply awaiting the declaration, not a share in the business. No, we're speaking of the executive director of Caitlyn's affairs. His initial directive of trade, business, and anybody who's ever replaced them with a cheap shot, with individuals who know how to play basketball without feigning to be a cage fight.
I've never seen nothing like this before in my life, where a player gets treated this way in sports, man. I've never seen nothing like this ever, man. This is just beyond wow. Like, I'm just beyond my threshold. You don't deserve this, man. You don't deserve it. Straight up. I get the intensity in games and you know, physicality, but this is just too much, man. It's just too much.
Bird's devotion isn't subtle. It's boisterous, arrogant, and perhaps getting ready to submit LLC documentation. Now, let's discuss the incident that ignited the shove, the match. The notorious Marina. "Oh, I didn't see you there," said Mabrey. "I was casually blasting your spine at the time." Caitlin Clark was shoved. It wasn't just unclean. It wasn't just superfluous. It was the type of action that made each overaged retired basketball legend of 50 yell at their TV. And when did sports become a street sport? Theater.
To this young lady for what she's brought to the game should be suspended and fined big time.
Clark, we gonna deal with this. Let's say you play till you're 40, you're 23. That's 17 more. We gonna deal with this for 17 more years. Bro, just Caitlin Clark, just leave. Go play basketball somewhere else, man. We will follow you. We will follow you wherever you go. Let this shit crumble to the ground, man.
WNBA basketball, where anything goes.
Additionally, Larry. He didn't just scream, "Bird." He left. Scorched earth in its entirety. As stated by Bird, he didn't see basketball. It was cowardice. His precise words, "the most cowardly behavior I witnessed on a basketball court for decades." Now, remember this is a man who persevered despite bad backs, fingers, and the NBA's psychological warfare in the 1980s. He confronted the men Rodman, Lemire, and Mahorn, who would simply shove you in the throat to greet. Additionally, they failed to make an angry bird like Marina Mabrey, pushing Clark nonchalantly from behind while she was still attempting to close her eyes, poke like a bewildered anime figure. What's crazy is how unconcerned everyone else appeared to be influenced by it. Supporters were furious. Yes, but the league wasn't there. Answer? Where did the egregious foul occur? The penalty, the requirement, please don't attack the largest draw email in the league. Memo? Not at all. Anybody that does something egregious to this girl for her contributions to the game ought to be suspended and heavily penalized.